Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Aliens and Cowboys podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Joe. With me here is Garrett.
Hey, guys.
Nate, unfortunately, not with us again this evening. I swear to you all, he is a real person. We're not just using voiceovers. He will be with us in future episodes to come. Garrett and I were very excited to bring you this episode, kind of a holiday special, if you will. We're here not so much to debate Die Hard, but to convince you why it is, in fact, a Christmas movie.
That's right.
We came up with this, of course, because of how much of a hot-button topic this seems to be right now. There's a ton of stuff going on the internet that's dividing people.
Yeah, there was recently a poll out that I think it was 62% of people thought Die Hard was not a Christmas movie, and that's all types of age, that's all genders. That was very shocking, because not only is it a Christmas movie, you could make the argument it's one of the best Christmas movies, which we're going to make today. So, Joe, go ahead.
Absolutely. I think the main thing we want to kind of set up here is what really makes a Christmas movie at its heart. There are some common themes there. Some that we're going to be touching on here this evening is the redemption story, the theme of altruism, as well as, of course, the setting in the holiday season. So, circling back to that very first one, the redemption story, this is crucial to Die Hard. He's flying across the country because of the holiday season. It's a time where people gather, they set aside their differences, they come together to have family time, essentially.
That's right.
In this particular movie, of course, he's estranged from his wife, so he's trying to go meet back up with her, see what he can do to kind of mend that marriage, meet up with his children again, and really kind of make themselves a family again. And that, right off the bat, that sounds like a pretty great holiday movie premise right there.
Yeah, and I thought of this too. Not only is John McClane the redemption story, but Al Powell's a redemption story.
Absolutely.
There's a very key part of the film where he talks about how I believe he shot a child.
Yes.
And he doesn't ever want to pull his gun. This is a story about how he is able to overcome the demons inside him, and he's not only able to save the day, but he is able to take down one of the film's biggest bad guys.
Absolutely. Those are great points to make. It's also worth noting, of course, that it is John McClane and Al who are having this conversation. They're able to have this friendship grow out of this horrible situation. So not only is John McClane going there to try and mend his relationship with his wife, but he ends up forming this new friendship that they're brought together through these, of course, horrible circumstances. But it's still an amazing redemption story, I think, for both of them.
Yeah, and it's a friendship that lasts. We obviously know it does go into Die Hard 2 at least, right?
Yes, absolutely
so
right. Definitely. I think the next one, too, that we want to really hit on is altruism. And Garrett, I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah, altruism. I don't know if there's anything more, sacrificial than putting your life on the line for strangers. And John McClane puts his life on the line for people he doesn't know to save them. Yes, his estranged ex-wife is in this hostage crisis. We do not know if he could have potentially got her out of there, or if they would have simply said, John, if you want to leave, you can take Holly with you. Just please don't mess anything up. Get out of our way. Let us steal our, the bonds, and we'll be good to go. But nope, John decides that he is going to sacrifice. That is basically the quintessential altruistic. He is sacrificing more, I think, in this film than really any other Christmas story that exists. Okay. The next one then is going to be the holiday season.
Yes,
and
definitely.
What's important is the idea that a lot of people make the argument this plot to this movie would be fine any other time.
I disagree.
That if this movie took place in July, that the plot wouldn't be harmed. And again, just like you said earlier, he's flying in for Christmas. He's not flying in for the 4th of July.
Exactly.
That's a very key point to make, right? He's not coming in for St. Patrick's Day or Flag Day or even Thanksgiving. He's coming for Christmas. He is a New York cop. It is probably very hard to get time off to come across the country to see your family at Christmas.
I would
right?
agree. Yes.
Okay. Not only that, he's a New York cop who probably doesn't want to go to California, right? East Coast, West Coast, he probably thinks they're weird, which he does think they're weird. The other parts of the holiday season, why this film encapsulates so much is starting right off the beginning when he meets Argyle, the limo driver.
Yes.
And he gets into the limo and Argyle asks him what type of music he wants, and John says Christmas music. And Argyle puts on Run DMC, Christmas in Hollis. And basically they have this conversation where John says, what type of music is this? And Argyle goes, this is Christmas music, right? And that's very symbolic, I think, as a metaphor for this movie, that here you have somebody who's saying this particular song does not represent Christmas, and this person saying it absolutely does. And the key point for Argyle, Christmas in Hollis is going to appear in the 2018 Grinch film. So there's nothing less Christmas than that, right?
Right.
Okay.
The Grinch is pretty quintessential. So if
Right.
it's now making an appearance in a Grinch movie, I think that's a great point of evidence.
Right, and a couple more points too. The reason why this only works at Christmas is Takagi. As a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, Takagi is not going to any other party that Nakatomi Plaza is having except the Christmas party. The terrorists know Christmas at the time because Takagi will be there. Takagi is not going to the barbecue for the holiday party or for the 4th of July holiday party.
Right.
He's not going to be there. Okay, he is going to only be there at Christmas. They know he's going to be there at Christmas, and that is why they use that time to basically, infiltrate Nakatomi Plaza and take hostages, which also leads to the symbolism of Hans is the Grinch. He is a story of greed coming into this holiday party of cheer, and he is basically ruining it, right? He is the Grinch. He is greed. He is greed personified, who also does bring a Christmas miracle. And that's very important to the story.
Yes.
This story has a Christmas miracle. Theo, trying to knock down all those different levels of protection in the vault. Hans brings them the FBI.
That's right.
A
Yes.
Christmas miracle. Okay?
Definitely. There's a couple other points, too, even beyond that are just hugely important to the Christmas theme and how events unfold, specifically for John McClane in a lot of ways. Obviously, the most glaring one, very iconic moment from the movie, of course, is when he writes on the chest of the dead terrorist there, I have a machine gun, ho, 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 right?
Yes.
So,
Yep.
obviously, a little bit of pun there at the expense of this guy around Christmas time. But beyond that, of course, at the very end as well, with the gun strapped to his back.
That's right.
He's got the wrapping paper. He's got the tape. Those are things that would not have been there if it was not for Christmas. It allows him to act the way he does at this critical juncture in the movie.
Correct. He can't hide that gun without those, Christmas accessories.
Exactly.
Okay. One thing, Joe, I want your opinion on, because I know you're pretty passionate about this.
Yes.
A lot of people make the argument that Die Hard is not a Christmas movie, but will similarly make the argument Home Alone is. So I need you to tell me why, if you don't believe one, you can't believe the other.
Yes, you have to essentially have the same opinion about these movies and their status as a Christmas movie, more specifically, okay? If you are adamantly saying that Die Hard isn't a Christmas movie, but you're fighting for the fact that Home Alone is, it's for the same reasons that you would be arguing Die Hard is not, that then Home Alone should also not be a Christmas movie, okay? The time of year. Some people say, it could happen any time of year for Die Hard. Okay, why can't it happen any time of year then for Home Alone? It's because it can't happen any time of year. People are traveling around the holidays. People, specifically in this case, of course, the thieves are targeting the houses because they know people are leaving. They're using the Christmas lights, automated timers. They're scouting these houses out because they know there's going to be a lot of stuff in them without people there. It's fundamental to the plot, which of course leads to the conflict at the end, which of course is the next point to bring up. Some people would argue that Die Hard is too violent for a Christmas movie. Certainly, it's very violent. But so's Home Alone. The only difference here is that Home Alone is played for laughs, right? It's played for laughs. Certainly there's not the over-the-top gore or anything like that that's present in the film, but the violence itself is actually pretty brutal.
Right.
You've got nails and boards sticking up out of the floor. You've got paint cans swinging down, hitting people in the head. You've got blow torches that are rigged from the top of a door to light someone's head on fire. Right. That does not sound like a very wholesome holiday film if you're looking at it through that lens.
Not to mention a crazy old, salt can, shovel smashing face neighbor, right?
Exactly.
And it would only take a remake by a Quentin Tarantino or Eli Roth of Home Alone to basically determine how violent of a film this actually is and what the real impact on a person's face having a paint can smash it, at 60 miles an hour, right?
Yes, exactly.
Of course. Now, I do want to ask you this question, Joe. If they remade Die Hard today, is it going to have more Christmas theme in it or less Christmas theme?
It would have to have more. It would have to have more Christmas theme. I hope they never do look to remake it, of course. It's a great film as is. You can just leave it like it is. That being said, they'd have to lean into that Christmas side of things, right? Maybe throw in Santa Claus somewhere. Be a little bit more on the nose with it. Maybe have John McClane zip line off the rooftop with a strand of Christmas lights, right?
That's right.
These are things that could be incorporated, certainly, but Christmas is fundamental.
Yeah, and I know that some people would make the argument that Die Hard 2 is actually more of a Christmas movie than Die Hard 1. We won't get into that.
Yeah.
But I do know they are making another Die Hard movie. And I would like to see them take that back to the Christmas theme.
That'd be a nice way to bring it back.
Right, I think that would make it more successful. Obviously, we want to end it here, guys. We do hope that we convinced you, because if we did not, then you're still wrong. We are going to put a poll up on Twitter. We hope you guys go out and vote. Just vote yes, that it is a Christmas movie. And then going forward, give us a follow, give us a tweet. You can reach us at Alien and Cowboy on Twitter. If you want to email us comments, concerns, or questions, we're at aliensandcowboys@gmail.com. Again, just like Joe said, Nate, we promise we'll be here next week. Or not next week, apologize. We're going to have a holiday week in between here. When we come back, though, we're going to convene for our last poll topic that we did put up. We're going to debate Halo 2 versus GoldenEye on which is the superior game. I will be taking the GoldenEye side. Nate, for his first time, will be taking the Halo 2 side.
Yep.
And Joe is going to be the moderator and choose who wins. So, again, until then, give us a follow, give us a rating, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family, and we hope you guys have a happy holiday. Bye, guys.